This video is about the Gothic classic continuity. The universe began in form of a single godlike entity with the name of Enos. This being was the embodiment of the light, of fire, life, justice, and righteousness. Eventually, Enos was tired of being alone. He started to create things, but unfortunately, as soon as these things came into existence, they were burned away just as quickly as nothing but Enos can exist in pure light. This caused the embodiment of life, one that can create life, to get a unique idea. Let's split myself in half and see what happens. Not waiting long after, Enos got to work and ripped itself in half. Perhaps surprisingly, Enos found itself completely intact standing in front of a new being. This new god, born from the light, named itself Beliar, and its very existence brought rise to the night. Since Beliar was clearly no longer a part of the light, Enos named this entity its brother and loved him as such. Unfortunately, these feelings were unanswered. The light of Enos caused Beliar unending harm and suffering, feeding the hatred within the new god. From this point, the lore of Gothic tells the story from two points of view: the dogma of Enos' followers and the teachings of water. Let's get a little wet and begin with the latter. Enos, still unable to properly create life, as all he can do is bring empty shells into existence, he splits himself once again. This third god named itself Adanos, or Adanos, or Adanos, becoming the embodiment of diversity, knowledge, curiosity, courage, balance, and water. With the help of Adanos, life was finally made reality. Trees and animals, wolves and sheep alike. Lastly, humans were born. This is also the only difference in the version told by the followers of Enos, who claim that humans were created first and that Adanos came afterwards. Though one would have to ask oneself, if Adanos was created after the process of bringing life into the universe was complete, why would Enos see the need to split himself again? If Enos was truly capable of creating life with only his and Beliar's help, although Beliar wouldn't be very willing to help, and we know that Enos can't do it alone, then there would be no reason for him to split himself again and create a third entity. Anyway, Enos was happy with the world that was created, and he gave this world to Adanos, as the god of light wanted to rest after his hard work. Adanos shared those sentiments, indulging himself as an observer towards the variety of life existing in the beautiful world. As it often happens, Beliar was kind of left forgotten on the sidelines, and his jealousy grew uncontainable. The humans worshipped exclusively Enos, worked during the day and slept during the night, so Beliar created his own human, one designed to worship only the darkness. The plan failed because the god underestimated the human nature. His dark human rejected his creator and joined Enos. Understandably, Beliar's wrath went through the roof. He descended upon Adanos' realm, walked up to his human and introduced him to his new creation, death. By completing this action, Beliar has declared war against Enos. The following era would be defined by its name: the War of Gods. It begins with Enos crying for 13 years, realizing he had to fight his own brother for peace. Then humans found, stored, and drank his tears that poured down on their realm, granting them the power of creation, also known as magic. These people became the priests of Enos, spreading his word and lessons to their kin.
The tears of Enos are nothing but an old child's tale. It tells of how the battle between Enos and Beliar started at the beginning of time. When Enos realized that he had to fight Beliar, his own brother, in order to preserve creation, his sorrow was great. He started to weep, and his tears fell down onto the world. There were many of them, for his heart was so full of grief that he wept for 13 years. And it has been more than 250 years since anyone last set eyes on a tear of Enos.
In response, Beliar gave a part of his power to the animal kingdom and created a terrible beast of destruction. This beast would be the first avatar of the gods. Reacting to this, Enos then selected a human known as the Eternal Wanderer as his chosen one, giving him a part of his godly power to combat Beliar. The war waged on for countless years, and the longer it kept going, the more unrest rose within the army of Enos. Within the ranks of light, a number of people, many of which were former followers of the Eternal Wanderer, questioned the dogma of Enos and instead chose to pray to Adanos. Eventually, the infighting split the priests. The majority stayed with Enos. A smaller number, though, rejected the light and embraced balance. The time came when the war reached its climax. Enos ordered the humans to construct a portal to his realm, rallying a quick, aggressive response from Beliar, who recently finished making his second avatar. As both armies met each other for a final battle in Verant, an unforeseeable event occurred. Adanos intervened for the first time. Sick of all the destruction of all things he loved, Adanos summoned a flood with such unrelenting force that it swept away the entire ancient civilization of Verant and Beliar's entire army in one fell swoop. In the aftermath of the massacre, Adanos ordered his older brothers to pack their things and get the hell out of his realm, an order which Enos and Beliar obeyed. Before sending them away, Adanos advised his brothers to leave items filled with their godly essence behind, supporting their followers in case one side grows too strong. About 1,000 years later, Adanos' realm is still plagued by the never-ending struggle between the light and the darkness. Even though the gods could no longer directly interfere, as in they could only give mortals power in form of blessings and could no longer take direct actions in Adanos' realm like summoning a meteor, they still guided the ongoing war in their favor by selecting chosen ones. One day, Enos chose a new man, a barbarian in a snowy mountain by the name of Robar. Upon choosing him, Enos briefly spoke with his new champion and ordered him to conquer Myrtana, a land occupied by orcs. However, Holy Robar wasn't done yet. He called out for a holy crusade against the forces of evil and destroyed the majority of Beliar's army. Before he could finish his work, the humans crowned the Chosen One as King Robar I, the ruler of Myrtana. Over the coming years, about 20 or 30 years to be precise, the king passed away. His son, King Robar II, took over the reins. But that story is one for another day.